Oh my God, guys, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic outside, and I'm parenting. Jesus! Ooh, I know this is a trying time for you. This is a trying time for me. But, Cozy One Podcast has to still push through. I've been pushing through for the past, 4 months. This has not been the summer of my life. I did not enjoy this summer. If you want to call it that. I'm not enjoying, scanning in homework and emailing it to teachers. I'm not enjoying that. Class Duo is on pivot. Google Classroom is on pivot. Alerts is coming on my phone. I'm always checking the news. I don't know what's going on. This election is going to be wild. It's just a wild time. And I just want you guys to know that I am here with you. Thank you for tuning back into Cozy Moon Podcast for season 9. Give me clap for season 9. Yes. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I'm being really transparent this season and sharing a lot of my life with you, sharing a lot of things that people are not thinking about during this pandemic and this quarantine. And I just really want us to be better human beings throughout this whole pandemic, because that's what we need. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episodes this season. Woo! Let's just get into it. There's so much to talk about. Let me start with these kids. These kids. Let's just get into this. Hey guys, welcome back to Cozy Moon Podcast. My name is Shan, mom of the girls. This is season 9, episode 3. We're talking on a serious topic: child abuse during quarantine. And not a lot of people are talking about this, but it's real. Because when I was a child, I experienced it too many times, okay? And if you think about it, before this quarantine, a lot of kids their only escape was going to school to not be around their abusers, not be in their house, not be in their apartment, not be in their building. You know what I'm saying? And now that most kids are at home, now that most kids spent a whole summer with more months than usual at home, in that home, I could only imagine what that is like for a child, And most kids now are doing virtual learning for the next beginning months of this school year starting. My kids are already starting the school year right now. And for someone that lives in a household where they're being abused or molested or dealing with a parent or a family member that's an alcoholic or uses drugs, it's hard to be like, okay, I got to get up tomorrow. I'm going to do school on my laptop and it's going to be a peaceful day. Like, that's a lot of stress. And now that we don't have nurses on hand in these homes, we don't have social workers on hand because maybe that business is shut down because that's a government business. Who's checking in? And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about ways that you and I, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a brother, a sister, a friendly friend can help. Like, what can we do to help kids that may be in a home where that is possibly happening, or you're seeing signs that could be something that's happening, but you're not sure because you don't live there. You only come by ever so often, or you only check in ever so often, or, being that it's this quarantine, you might be an essential worker and you're just at work a lot more and you really can't say the last time you checked in. Like, what can we do? And I just made a list of some things that we could possibly do to check in with that. And the first thing on there is do a check-in, whether it's virtual, whether it's giving a heads up, hey, I'm going to stop by go to the park, taking kids out for ice cream, talking to them, phone calls, having your own like set day that you go see them, and making sure you're staying consistent with that. Checking their body for marks, checking their mannerisms is a thing. Like, those are things that you need to do in a check-in. Maybe the next thing you could do is buddy learning, where if you have a friend that has a kid your age, see if they're okay with that kid being over there also doing virtual learning on their laptop. Maybe that might help that parent, if that parent's working from home, that, there's another kid in there helping them and they can have that socialization, if that's something you're comfortable with during this quarantine. You can see if you're a family member and you're worried about that child being in a certain household. See if you could do family sleepovers. Are you comfortable with that kid coming to your house instead of staying at their house? Making sure they're okay, talking to them. Schools, I think schools should share abuse tips and hotlines in kid form. Meaning, during the virtual schooling, you can ask that child, hey, if you feel like this and you don't feel comfortable in your home, click this. If there's something that you would like to talk to your teacher about, just you and the teacher, go here and let me know. If there's something that you would like to say, talk to me after this lesson. Like, that language, that discussion, it needs to be an open window for kids who possibly may be going through that in their home and they can't verbally say it during a lesson. They can't verbally tell you that, but they can text it to you or they can type it to you. And that's something on an adult side that we can do, okay? As parents and as teachers, that's something on an adult side that we can do. Communication with parents, okay? If your mom has parties on the weekend or your mom has friends that come over, and as a kid, you're not comfortable when this particular person comes over, but they're usually always over here and you don't know, how to go about that and tell your parent. You can tell your teacher and that teacher can have a discussion with that parent. But it's just the level of stress that kids could be going through right now, on top of having to read on their own, do math on their own, learn on their own, do homework on their own. Like, it's a lot to feel like you have to protect yourself in your own home because it's not safe. You're no longer in a school where it's safe. You're no longer in a classroom where it's safe. You're no longer around your friends where you feel safe. And it's unfortunate, and I know it's happening right now. Maybe schools can do set up a virtual nurse check. Okay? Where just like they do virtual art class on the laptop, they do virtual PE, like virtual nurse check. How do you feel? What is your emotion? Pick an emoji. Like something like that. Maybe that's something that can help a child that may be abused. If you see a child usually happy and outgoing, and now all of a sudden they're uninterested, their mood has shifted, they're distracted, they're emotional, they look sad, they have bags under their eyes, you notice that they might not be sleeping, they're irritated, or, the standard, if you see something, say something. Like, we have to keep our kids safe. We have to make sure our kids are in a safe environment, a safe home. Like, these child lives are our future. Like, we're going to get older, and these children that are coming up are going to be the people that take care of us. But if we don't take care of them, who's going to help us? And I don't think people think that far. There's 5 signs of abuse. If there's a child that can't sleep, and you always known, like, this child never to have an issue. There's a child that's getting super aggressive, or they're not listening, and it's being, a bigger issue more and more and more. Have you noticed that this child is gaining weight? Or have you noticed that this child is losing weight? I haven't seen you in a few months and you look different. Do you notice this child being timid or jumping when somebody comes around, or completely changing their posture when somebody walks into a room? Have you noticed the child change behavior with this one person in particular when they come over? Or, when it's time to learn, they're scared. All of that is something that teacher needs to say. Something that friend on FaceTime needs to take notice of. The domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Again, the domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233. The child help hotline is 1-800-422-4453. Again, 1-800-422-4453. As a teacher, as a parent, as someone who just cares about children in general, I would rather say something and be wrong than to say something and something be done, and maybe I got help just before something really bad happened. Or I don't want to see something, think something, not say anything, and then see a child on the news, or hear about a child in the paper, or see this child on social media and being like, man, I felt this, or I noticed this. I live in Georgia, so for Georgia, the Child Help Hotline is 1-855-GA-CHILD, and that's 422-4453. So 1-855-422-4453. Any of those hotlines, man, talk to somebody, tell somebody, write down dates and what you notice in that child, name, whatever you know about that child. If you have an address, give them an address. If there's a recent phone number change, give them a recent phone number change. Like, all of the information that can help that child get help, that's what you do. That's what you do as an adult. That's what you do as a provider. That's what you try to go ahead and get on top of, instead of avoiding and not talking about it. Okay? Because child abuse right now is happening rapidly during this quarantine because kids have no escape. Okay? A lot of kids escape in order for them to get a good meal was school. Some schools and some districts are still delivering breakfast to kids. Just check into that in that county. And some schools aren't. Okay? There has been some type of fund or finance given to anyone who cannot go to school and needs more money to buy food to put in the household for kids that go to school. Please look into that on your state resource website. But there's things that we can do and steps that we can take as adults to help kids that might be in a home where child molestation is going on. Child victims, that is a thing, okay? We have to save these kids. We have to save these children. We have to protect these children. Like, that is something we have to do. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. This is a very important one. Please share and please be aware. Peace. Yay! Bye.
Bye.